Good morning. I am currently in my yard, and I have a jar that I'm adding spruce tips to right now, and they smell so good. And I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing, and this may not be the most graceful video ever because I have my phone in one hand and my jar in the other, and then I'm picking with another. I'm pulling spruce tips. Now this is not going to be, ooh, look, pokey. It got stuck in my finger. I'm going to bruise these a little bit and toss them in this jar. So this may not be your normal application for spruce that you see. A lot of the stuff on the internet that you're seeing for spruce is recipes for ingesting it. We're not going to be ingesting this. This is going to become a beautiful, healing, protective skin toner. Don't get me wrong, these are very edible and they're very good for you, but different application right now. So as I'm going through, I want to try to get some of the smaller ones if I can. Why am I using spruce tips? Because they have just amazing properties in them. Don't get me wrong, the whole spruce tree itself has amazing properties in it, okay? But the tips are just packed full and super concentrated because all of the tree's energy, all of her beautiful energy is going into these little tips here. So now this tree is huge. I'm not hurting the tree by taking a few tablespoons of these off of it. I'm gonna walk over here and grab one of these ones here that still had the brown tip on it. So just a couple tablespoons in here. Now spruce tips are just packed full of vitamin C. They're very cleansing. So they're going to pull anything out of your skin that you're not, that you don't want there. Spruce is also an astringent. Okay, I think this is going to be enough spruce tips. As I'm tossing them in this jar, I'm just like squishing and bruising and kind of just tearing a little bit. I'm not doing anything fancy. And I just have, maybe a couple tablespoons in there, okay? So, and it smells so good. Spruce is very amazing with that, full of vitamin C. Here I have peonies. My peonies, let me see if I can't kind of show you peonies, and we're also going to use those roses right there that I have going crazy right now. We're going to get a couple tablespoons of peony flower. Peony has been used for so long for skincare. It's just amazing. And I bruised those petals just a teeny bit and tossed them in there. And it's also got all that fresh morning dew on it, which is amazing. So now we're going to come to this rose bush. Rose has also been used for centuries. This is an extra pokey bush, so I'm trying to be careful. Centuries for skincare, absolutely. So some of these ingredients that I'm putting in here will be antibacterial and antimicrobial and help against like free radicals and help against like aging and sun damage, all that kind of thing that we're exposed to. But a couple of these herbs will actually put moisture back into the skin because we don't want to suck everything out, right? And so part of what rose does is it bonds with your skin, and dang, that person's brakes were super squeaky. It pulls the moisture back into your skin and seals it in there. And so it is just a beautiful herb for that, not to mention the fact all of its amazing properties. So we're gonna do a couple tablespoons. We're gonna bruise them as we're putting them in the jar here. Okay, a couple tablespoons of rose in here. I might add a little rosebud in there just because it's cute, because why not? So I'm just bruising them and squishing them a little as I get them in the jar. So a couple tablespoons of rose petals, right? To add some of that moisture back in. Maybe we'll take another little bud here that's not quite open yet. They have some really sorry, I have to get behind the rose bush here. As they're budding, they have a lot of really good properties too. And I want to just pop that little stem off and toss her in the jar. We have a beautiful mixture here. So now I'm going to come over here to my motherwort plant. Motherwort is amazing. She's a very bitter herb, and most people use her for hormonal support and a digestive aid and things like that. But let me see if I can't get down here and kind of show you guys what she looks like here. She's not flowering yet. Now, in most medicinal applications, you want to use her when she's flowering. A big truck went by. I don't know if you saw that. You want to use her when she's flowering. However, these young leaves are really, really amazing for skincare. So since we're not using her for internal use in this, I'm going to pop off a couple of leaves here and just give them a squish and pop them in my jar. So I'm just going to kind of, bruise it a little. I love motherwort. She's one of my very favorite plants. But what can she do for skincare? Well, she helps to drain your lymphatic system. Pretty sure I just had a little buggy crawling on my face. That's what happens when you're outside. So she helps drain the lymphatic system and balance hormones through skin. So this will help with like hormonal breakouts and just helping make sure that things are good and clear and clean, and you're not struggling so much with that hormonal imbalance. When we get breakouts from that. There's a little bird in my yard over there. So cute. And now to some deeper ingredients. Over here, we're gonna come over to my little porch, and you know what, I might add another little extra motherwort leaf in here because I only did 3. Again, this is not a crazy concentrated skin prep thing. We don't want it crazy concentrated because it's not a tincture. We're not taking it internally. It's going on our skin. And so we don't want to like overload our skin with stuff that's going to be caked on and feel heavy and not, our skin won't absorb it. We don't want leftover stuff that our skin won't absorb left on it, if that makes sense. So we have our jar here with our spruce tips and all of that. And now I need to move this over a little. I have, let me see. I'll get my coffee cup so I can prop my phone and take a sip. So now I have in my jar all those beautiful plants, okay? And I have my pestle and mortar, okay? And in my pestle and mortar, I've added some frankincense resin and some myrrh resin, okay? And I'm going to be adding some dragon's blood resin as well. And I have a few cloves, but we'll go into that in a minute. So I've been crushing this up into a powder. Let me put this dragon's blood in here. I don't want a ton of dragon's blood in here, just a couple little chunks. And we're gonna powder this up as best we can. And you're gonna really want to use, I don't know, a teaspoon of each maybe. Crush it up. So, myrrh is amazing for antibacterial everything. If you go back through my videos, you'll find a video where I made a mouthwash with myrrh in it, and I just gotta tell you, it's amazing for teeth health and for healing and all of that. So it's really, really good for the skin. It also helps with things like cell regeneration and scarring and things like that. And frankincense, we know since the beginning of time, thousands of years, has been used in skincare with the myrrh. And myrrh is great with wound healing and all of that. But the frankincense and the dragon's blood are going to boost that. And so you're going to have smoother, clearer skin, but it's also going to help boost your collagen levels and protect your skin from things like the sun and free radicals and anything that you may be exposed to on a daily basis. This is also going to, all of this together helps promote an even skin tone. It will help with like fine lines and little bitty cracks in your skin. Frankincense and dragon's blood and myrrh all have that power to find those little cracks in your skin and help heal them. And frankincense especially is one of the fastest cell regenerators that there is. So I've got this all ground up, and I'm going to pour this in my jar. Okay. Now, it's not a ton, but it's some. And it smells really good. Frankincense and myrrh. We also know that, most of these plants I'm putting in here are ancient sacred plants that people have used for centuries. In protections and blessing their homes and offerings to spirits and communication with the spirit world. And, it's never a bad thing to open yourself up with that by actually applying it on your body and not just use those healing properties of the plants themselves. So here I have 3 whole cloves. I'm not going to crush these cloves up because cloves are super potent and super powerful, and I don't want to irritate the skin, okay? But it also helps boost collagen production, very much a cleansing herb, a balancing herb, and a protective herb for our skin as well as, spiritually. It also has a numbing effect, so if you have skin irritations and things like that, it can help fix all of that. I also forgot to mention that the dragon's blood almost works like a liquid Band-Aid, okay? It's so amazing for wound healing. So if skin irritation and things like that you've struggled with for a long time, that dragon's blood will really help a lot. So all of these mixed together becomes like the ultimate source and healing. Now, I'm going to take some witch hazel, which I don't know if you have done any studying on witch hazel, but growing up, I always knew it as, you know, something my mama used on her skin. And I never understood why, but I always remember her skin being perfectly beautifully toned and just so beautiful and supple looking, even, you know, as old as she was. When I was young, my grandmother was pretty old when I was young, and I just remember her skin just looking so radiant and amazing, and it was so soft. And you know, I always remember kids making fun of old people for using witch hazel, but it has some amazing properties. Now, most people are gonna want to use, for your normal skin applications, they're gonna want to get like an organic witch hazel without alcohol in it. However, these plants here, okay, the alcohol's not gonna hurt you, especially because you'll be putting your skin oil or your, you know, your skin cream or whatever on after you do this, okay? So the alcohol is not going to hurt you, and if anything, it adds an extra cleansing property. I want the alcohol that's in this. This has 14% grain alcohol in it, okay? And technically, could I make my own witch hazel? Yes, I could, because witch hazel is a plant that grows wild. I just currently don't have any, nor have I found any recently. That being said, you know, all these plants here, they have water soluble properties, but they also have alcohol soluble properties in them. And I want both of those properties to be extracted from these plants so I get the best extraction I can. Especially since I'm not using dry as well. I'm using fresh plant matter. I also want preservation. I want to be able to keep this on the shelf. I don't want it to be something that has to go in the refrigerator. And with this, I mean, it can be kept for a year, and it doesn't hurt anything. It can go directly on your face, and then you apply your moisturizer as you want to, and it's good to go. So I want this to be able to extract both, and I want the preservation. Though the myrrh itself does extend the shelf life because it's so antimicrobial and antibacterial and all of that. I apologize. I was getting a phone call and my phone did something weird. So I'm gonna pour this in here. Again, this is not a tincture, so I don't need to fill my jar with the fresh herbs. I'm going to fill my jar to about right here with these fresh herbs. And I'm gonna let it sit. Since these are fresh, look how pretty that is. It's beautiful. If you want to put like a fermentation weight in there, or like, you know, a fermentation stone or whatever to hold your herbs down, you can. I'm not going to. I am going to just screw this lid on the right way, hopefully. And give it a shake. Blend everything really good. Now, because of the resins, it's going to be kind of cloudy. And I'm going to recommend that unless you have like a spray bottle that's meant for stuff like this, after you strain it out, your spray bottle may get clogged. And so I usually don't do a spray bottle. I will let this sit for 7 to 10 days. And I'll shake it daily. It's going to be in a cool, dark place in my apothecary, okay? Labeled, of course, with what date I made it. I can dump this into this pestle and mortar because I have a different use for that, for later. But it's going to go in a cool, dark place in my apothecary for 7 to 10 days. And at that point, I will strain it out, and I will use a cotton pad to use it as a face toner and a cleanser. Another thing that you need to know, especially with aging skin, okay, is you don't really want to use soap on your face unless your face is like super dirty, okay? If you're outside rolling in the dirt and, you know, your face gets really dirty, of course, you know, you probably want to use soap. But soap is actually really not good for your skin. This works as a really, really good cleanser. And it doesn't deplete your natural oils. This will actually help balance those oils out and help your body produce the correct amount of oil and not be too dry or too oily or any of that. This stuff is really, really amazing. It has just so many crazy benefits. I know I have missed a lot of benefits in this video because there's just so many. There's so many benefits to all of these plants in here. There's no way. It would take me hours to tell you about all of them. So I'm going to encourage you to sit down and do some research on all of these yourselves. I'm going to give this a little shake every day in my apothecary. And when we're done, I'm going to strain it out. Use a cotton to cleanse my skin with it. It doesn't get rinsed off. And then I apply my healing oil and my face cream that I use. So I hope this is beneficial. I hope it helps you. Oh, I was going to also say, I like to stick a key on top, a skeleton key, before it goes in my apothecary, to just add some extra blessings from Hecate into it. It always comes out so beautifully. I have made many of these facial toners. I've used elderflower. I've used evening primrose. I've used just plain rose. I've used things like honeysuckle. So I'm going to urge you, pay attention to what's growing around you. What grows wild around you, what's growing in your yard, what's growing in your neighborhood, pesticide free, of course. You want to make sure there's no pests, no pesticides in them. Especially because, you know, you can do this with dried herbs if you don't have access to anything fresh, okay? However, the plants that are growing right around you and right under your feet, they know. I don't know how else to explain that, but they know. And they grow in such a way to heal the animals and humans that are living in that environment. So if any time possible, you can get them fresh from your own yard or from your local area. It's always better to go local if you can, because their healing properties are going to be so much better. It's almost like local honey for allergies and healing and things like that, because those bees are gathering from plants in your local area. And so it helps your body fight off things that might be irritating you locally. It helps, you know, get your immune system regulated to things that may be happening locally, whether it be allergies or sickness or whatever it may be. The same thing works with your plants. Okay, so remember that. I hope this video is helpful. I'm really excited to be using this, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.